Slavery in America, The Willy Pete Story by Daniel Johnson and Willow Hunter. Long ago in the 17th century, King Charles I from England captured people from their homeland. They baptized them and chained them to their boats. They brought them all the way to America and made them work. This was known as slavery. The slaves were forced to do this against their own will. They didn't get any allowance. There wasn't any chance of freedom. And then came Willy Pete. He defied his captives, Bruce Smith's orders, and did what he wanted to do. I was born into slavery, and if I survived until I was strong enough, I would automatically have to work for the big bad boss, Bruce Smith. I once witnessed my mother getting a spanking by Bruce because she had refused to do work to care for me. Over the years, I had grown into a smart young boy. My older sister, May, had sneakily taught me to read over the years. It was forbidden for slaves to read, so I had secretly read books and educated myself about the place where we stayed. It was called a plantation, and there was no easy way out unless you got crafty. Using the information I learned from the books over the years, on my 18th birthday, I decided it was time for a change of scenery. When I brought up the idea to my mom and May, they begged me not to. "Please don't leave. You will get a bad spanking," they said to me. This had not deterred me, for I was determined to be a free man. One morning, I woke up. I was getting yelled at by the big bad boss. He had smacked me in the head with his whip. It was 5 a.m., the time I was supposed to be up and at it. I hurriedly ran out of my room before I got beat again. I went outside and saw all of my friends and family working with tired faces. They were getting weaker by the minute. "Nay, nay," was what I heard while I was working, and to my surprise, there I saw a horse and buggy. "Joe, Woody, Michael, and Sebastian, you guys are being sold," Bruce exclaimed. They yelled as they were getting pulled from the fields. I quickly hid behind the thickets, hoping he didn't see me too. I knew that if I didn't act fast, I would be next. For the next 2 nights, I had watched Mr. Smith closely, so I would know his plans throughout the day. I knew when he woke up, went to sleep, left the plantation, and came back. All I had to do now was find a way to escape. I overheard that the slave buyers were going to come back in 2 weeks. I had to devise my plan quickly, or I was a goner. I knew I had to make a map out of here if I were ever going to have any chance of my coveted freedom. From my readings, I found out that if I made it out to the north side of the country, I could be safe. They didn't like slavery up there. Goodness gracious. While I was working in the field the next day, I snuck away for a few minutes at a time. I had to find escape routes where the plantation dogs wouldn't see me. I also had Mr. Smith's workers to worry about also, and after 8 failed attempts, I finally found the perfect route. I had to leave at nightfall because that was when Bruce Smith was in his house for the night. I had my map, a few scraps of food, and even managed to nab a canister of water from the kitchen. Bark, bark, woof, woof. My heart froze as I realized the plantation's dog somehow caught onto my trail, but I got my wits together and remembered from the books that pepper throws off a dog's scent. I quickly sprinkled some on the ground and ran the other way. I was finally on my way to liberation. I was sad that my family didn't want to risk coming with me, but I couldn't let that slow me down. I had to reach the promised land. I had to be free. Freedom was sensational. To be able to do what I want when I wanted to do it, and I finally got paid to do work. I only wish that my family could have made it with me. The end.